Today I'm going to talk about the deep web. So, as we know, the web is an inevitable source for information. So, we depend hugely on the web for information. So, we use web for all types of information, which may be first-hand or processed information, or some tertiary kind of information. So this web allows us to search, retrieve, and use the information in the desired format. That means, so we may search the information in the textual format or in any multimedia format. So here, uh, web can be divided as two major categories. One is surface web, and the one is deep web. So this surface web, so is that what we use is indexed by the conventional search engines like Google. That means the surface web is searchable through the search engines. So if you think about Wikipedia, if you go to Google and type some keywords or phrases, it will gives the result. So if you click on a link, it may be redirected to Wikipedia. So Wikipedia is a huge online encyclopedia which consists of so so many pages so on various issues of the interest. So Wikipedia alone contains a lot of information, and it also provide navigations between the pages. So it also gives the citations to the sources. And here, uh, as the surface web is concerned, so it can be accessible through Google like search engines. So here, one data shows that Google is consisting of 5 million terabytes of data. So that means a very huge amount of data is being stored and searchable on the Google. And Google is indexed nearly 200 terabytes of data. So it was the data given by Google CEO. So here, as we know, the surface web is very huge. So it also consists of all the social media you use, all the accessible websites, encyclopedias, indexed website, social media like YouTube, Twitters, and all the photo editing or the photo based websites, music based websites. For example, you might have heard about Flickr, Instagram, Google Photos, whereas the music is concerned hangama.com, ghana.com. So all these are searchable through search engines. So these are all the searchable web pages which comes under the surface web. So once it was calculated that more than 230 million tweets per day were sent to different people, and more than 294 billion emails sent every day on the web. So these are all comes under the surface web. And so it is astonishing to know that only 4 to 5% of the surface web is existed. That means if you take the entirety of the web, the surface web is only 4 to 5%, and the rest is stored somewhere else. So where is the rest? So we can call it as the deep web. So deep web is a web content that is not part of the surface web. That means, so one cannot search the content on the deep web using any search engine. So data is not easily accessible through search engines here, but the data is very very huge compared to the surface web. So it was said that 96% of web information is stored and securely protected under the deep web concept. The data here is also very qualitative. So you may find some information on the search engine. It may not be very true, or it may not be authenticated. So because anyone can post any information on the surface web. So whereas deep web is concerned, all the information it contains having some trustworthiness. So it is also called as private web. It is very huge, and the term deep web is coined by, the idea is coined by Jill Ellsworth in 1994, he used the term invisible web. So in the year 2001, Bergman's study used the phrase invisible web, and based on that, so the Bergman study used deep web concept. So deep web contains a lot of things like searchable databases, downloadable files, data sets, financial data, government information, the images and multimedia files, so which are resided on the authentic websites. So these are all the contents which are there on the deep web. So if you take the example of searchable databases, so I want to quote the name of Web of Science. So if you want to know the indexing and abstracting, also the citation data, so you need to have this Web of Science database, and it is not free for all. So it has to be subscribed by an institution or by any individual. So it is difficult to subscribe for an individual because of the higher cost. So if you want to know how many articles published on the gravity in a particular period of time, so who has written those articles, in which country all these articles have been published, and on what level of citations these articles have been received. So all these things can be known by one particular database, so that is Web of Science. So Web of Science comes under the concept of deep web, because so you cannot search the information available on the Web of Science through some search engines. You need to access the Web of Science itself to get the data. And downloadable files are there, so which are sometimes some companies and some institutions provide the information, so which can be downloadable only if you subscribe them. So for example, if you subscribe the Emerald database, so it provides 29 electronic journals in the field of library and information science. So here the files, so which contains in the form of articles, can be downloadable if you only subscribe the Emerald database. So here the Emerald database is a qualitative data, we can say it contains qualitative articles in library and information science field, and they are only downloadable if you subscribe it, and it cannot be directly accessible through the search engines. And there are some data sets and financial data. So if you want to know about the budget of a particular company, so you need to go to the particular website, and you need to access it by using some login credentials. So if you want to know the transactions data of Infosys company, so you need some login credentials. So otherwise you should be the employee of that particular company, only then you can access the data. If you take the example of a bank branch, then so you can know there are so many people having the accounts in that bank, so many transactions have been done, and so many interest rates have been calculated. So all these things can be accessible for the bank employee and to the particular customer. So in other words, so I can say you cannot access the information of finance of others account. So that is the important thing here. So here if you take the example of State Bank of India, so millions of people have accounts there. So you cannot know how many people are having accounts, how many SB accounts are there, how many deposit accounts are there, how many loan accounts are there, what are their status. So you cannot know because you are not allowed to access the data. So here a bank financial data comes under the deep web. It is secured, it is protected, and some quality data is being stored for the purpose of doing transactions under the bank setup. And some government information. So if you want to know some military details of a particular government, or if you want to know the some policy making of a government, so that data is secured under some servers, so protected by the government officials. So then only it can be protected from the public, and that data cannot be accessible through the search engines. So here images and multimedia files are also comes under deep web. So if you take the example of ISRO So they collect a lot of images of space and other earth images. So you cannot access them through search engines. So only thing, so what are they have posted over the web, so that only can be accessible through their website. So in order to know, in order to access, and in order to see all the images and multimedia files like videos of ISRO, you need to be the employee, or you need to be at the authentic or right place in that particular institution. So here all these uh, information formats like databases, downloadable files, data sets, finance data, images, so these comes under deep web. So these are very huge compared to the surface web, and they are kept under secured conditions. So these deep web contents have some indexing methods. So one is contextual web. So here only IP authenticated access is provided. For example, eJournal. So if you want to see the elsewhere publications, eJournals, so you need to subscribe them. Then they will provide some accessible uh, credentials. So that means, so your IP addresses or your computer's IP addresses are authenticated by that particular publisher. So then you can access the eJournal articles. So such indexing methods are used on the deep web. And dynamic content. So here, so these are the dynamic web pages, so which are written in response to the submitted query. And there are some limited access contents. So I want to take the example of post office track consignment option. So if you want to know whether the speed post you have done is reached or not, so you need to access it by using some shipping number. So if you give the shipping number in the website, and it will ask for a captcha code. So a computer or a machine cannot do that. So you need to do some give some captcha code, then only you can track the shipment of that particular product. So these are all the it is a technical way of identifying the uh, you know uh, consignments delivery. So here, so these are the limited access content. Only the person who knows the method to access the content can access it. Search engines cannot do that. So that's why it is comes under the deep web. And there are some non-HTML contents and private web. So for private web, we can take the example of a OPAC of a library. I'm not talking about web OPAC, but OPAC of a library. So these are the private webs. Only the students or the users of library can access the library catalog, so which is online. Uh, so this OPAC is private for that particular campus. And there are some unlinked content. So so many institutions are having institutional repository. So here, so these institutional repositories are not provided to the outside world. So that means outsider cannot access the institution repository. So he only can see it, or he only can heard of it. So in order to access, so that person need to come to the campus, and then only he will be allowed to access that institution repository. So because they are not linked to the outside world, so they are not comes under the network. So institution repositories are also deep web. Usually IRs or institution repositories are containing the list, full text articles, full text thesis, so maintained by that particular institutions. And one more important thing is web archive, so which is the huge in nature, so which is very huge in nature, and which contains millions and billions of web pages archived on a particular platform. So for example, Internet Archive, so there are so many web archives that have been existed on the web. So but the information contained on the web archives cannot be accessible through the Google or any other search engine. So only thing, we need to open the websites of that particular web archive, then only we can search the information. So these are all, this slide provides the further examples of the deep web information. So if you want to see the Wayback Machine, as we can see The Internet Archive, it is a non-profit library of millions of free books, movies, softwares, music, websites, and many more. So the information in the Wayback Machine cannot be accessible by using search engines. That means if you go to Google and if you type something, the result sheet does not provide the information which is there in the Internet Archive. As you can see, so this particular Internet Archive is consisting of more than 468 billions of files, 28.7 millions of books, 6.1 millions of videos, and it is growing. So there are 2.0 millions of TV shows. So there are 58200 softwares, more than 3.5 millions of photos, and 220k of audiobooks. So this is how it is very huge, and the task of the Wayback Machine is to collect and scan and capture the web based information and archive it for the purpose of posterity. That means permanently it archives the information. So one who want to know about the old literature or archived information, he need to get into the Wayback Machine. So as I tried to open the Kannada Ramayana on Wayback Machine, I typed Ramayana in Kannada, so it provided a book. So here, so in this part you can see, so there are 597 pages of this book have been scanned and archived in the Wayback Machine. So these left and right buttons, they will arrow keys, they will provide the option to move through the pages, and you can see all the pages of this book, and you can also zoom and zoom out, zoom in, zoom out. So these are all the provisions, and this particular book is not accessible through Google. So if you say Kannada Ramayana Samputa Vandu, so it will not provide any particular direct link to this particular book. Only Wayback Machine is providing. So this Wayback Machine comes under the deep web concept. So here deep web is a major part of the web. So major means the very highest percentage of information is provided, so under the deep web. So as you can see in the picture, the surface web which is floating on the water is very less, whereas the part of the iceberg, so which is under the water, is very huge. So here surface web is tip of the iceberg, whereas deep web is very huge and contains lot of secured information. So that's all. So thank you very much.